Oh, and happy Friday Eve, everybody. I'm back with you this week to share another one of my favorite joint friendly recipes because getting our joints to work like they're supposed to requires eating the right foods. So that's why I'm sharing these recipes with you guys. But before we get started, for those of you who aren't familiar with me or what I do, or if you're new to my community, my name is Jessica Melnick. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist, the founder of the Anti Arthritis Method, the host of the Happy Joints Arthritis Solutions Group, and I help both women and men with various forms of arthritis get back to living life the way they choose to, not the way that they have to. And like I said, one of the ways we do that is through the way that we eat. So, when we are eating to support our joints, there's a lot of potential food allergens and food sensitivities that we have to avoid. So, I refer to them as food triggers in my program because we actually have a lot of these when we are dealing with an illness like arthritis or another autoimmune condition, and we just may not be aware of this. And so, in order to become more aware of what we're eating or what potential trigger foods are, we have to wipe the slate clean. We have to just get rid of any and all potential food sensitivities, food allergens, food triggers. And then we can gradually reintroduce things once we feel better. Because if we don't do this, we don't allow our body to actually reset for the inflammation to subside. And in the case of an autoimmune form of arthritis, for our immune system to actually calm down and rebalance itself so it stops attacking our joints tissues. So, one of the ways that we do that is by avoiding certain foods, even healthy foods, that can trigger our pain and inflammation. And one of those things, unfortunately, is grains. So I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to avoiding things like eggs, which are a common sensitivity for a lot of us, or even a food allergen, and avoiding grains at breakfast time can be a little challenging. So typically during the spring and summer, I really enjoy a nice protein rich, antioxidant rich smoothie full of lots of berries, usually some coconut milk, and a really amazing protein powder, which I'll talk about in a bit. And that gives me the protein and all the fuel that I need to get through my morning. But now that it's starting to cool off here in Saskatchewan, having a cold smoothie doesn't really appeal to me as much on a cool morning. I tend to be kind of cold on a regular basis. So I just want something more warm and cozy, especially going into fall and winter. So I don't know if you guys have heard of smoothie bowls. Well, this is similar to that. I wouldn't necessarily call it a smoothie bowl, but it is kind of blended up ingredients that it's nice and warm and comforting. And so I'm going to go through what some of those ingredients are and talk to you about some of the nutrition benefits. But something that's really simple, you can make a larger batch and just warm it up as you go through the week. So you can make it one time and have it for the week. So it saves you time in the long run as well. So it can be really, really simple. And this is not my recipe. I'm going to post the link in the video and below the post here in the Facebook group so that you guys can access it. And you can substitute ingredients and add things as well to make it your own and what appeals to you. Because the base of this recipe is pureed pumpkin. And they also use coconut milk as well, because dairy is also something that most of us can't tolerate when we have arthritis or an autoimmune condition. So, coconut milk is a great substitute. There's tons of health benefits. I talk about it all the time. But today we're going to focus on some of the benefits of pumpkin. But you can also substitute sweet potato or yams in this. This would be super delicious as well. It would have a little bit more carbohydrates in there, especially if you are an active person in the morning and you just need more fuel to get you through the morning. Using sweet potatoes would be also a really, really good option too. So, like I mentioned, getting enough protein, especially if you are working on healing from arthritis, getting your joints to work like they're supposed to, bringing down that inflammation, making sure you're maintaining your muscle and or building muscle, especially as we age. And if we're over 40, it's really, really, really important to make sure that we're getting enough protein. And we often underestimate how much protein that we're getting with our meals. So usually on average, we want to shoot for a minimum of 30 grams of protein per meal. Now, the best types of protein that we can get and the more bioavailable protein that we can consume would be from animal sources. So things like meat, poultry, fish. But I know that, like myself, and I'm sure some of you, having like meat and vegetable hash first thing in the morning isn't that appealing. Maybe if I was at a weekend time and I was eating more around like 11 a.m. and eating it more as a brunch, that really appeals to me. But first thing in the morning, like I said, I typically like a smoothie or some type of joint friendly baked good. Now, this is a really good substitute for a smoothie for the colder months. But I would add, because we need that protein, I would add a scoop of a really good quality protein powder and some collagen powder too. So collagen powder is amazing if you're dealing with arthritis in terms of helping your body rebuild some collagen and to keep your joints healthy. So I recommend, a good quality grass-fed bovine collagen powder or pastured grass-fed bovine collagen powder. That's my number one recommendation. But there's also good sources of pasture-raised like chicken collagen or marine collagen. So up to you what you'd like to try. But one other protein source that I've recently discovered in the last, oh gosh, probably 6 months is a paleo protein. So it is a full spectrum amino acid profile. So unlike collagen, which is a complete protein, it is a complete protein made out of hydrolyzed bovine muscle. So basically you're eating meat in powdered form. I know that sounds really, really strange. It tastes just like any other delicious protein powder that you may have had before. And it's going to give you a full broad spectrum amino acid, complete protein, very bioavailable and amazing. So I would add a scoop of this into this bowl as well, just like I would add it to my smoothie. So to get started, let's talk a little bit about the benefits of pumpkin. As I know, fall is coming in the Northern Hemisphere, and I know a lot of you who might can relate to me, I do really enjoy pumpkin spice things. Can't say I'm a pumpkin spice latte girl. I'm more of a black coffee drinker, but I really love baking with cinnamon and those other warming spices in it. So that's what this bowl kind of reminds me of. And getting more vegetables and fruits in our diet is something super, super important if we are trying to repair our body and heal from illness. So pumpkin, like I said, is a great, great thing that can help us with that. And, just really delicious and warm and cozy. So let's look at the benefits of pumpkin nutrition. So pumpkin is really high in vitamin A and beta carotene and other antioxidants. And studies have shown that eating produce that is rich in vitamin A and beta carotene may not only defend against cancer, but also protect our vision, prevent macular degeneration, and boost our heart and neurological health. And this is due to vitamin A's ability to counteract oxidative stress and free radical damage, which harms healthy cells and neurons. So one study even concluded that high beta carotene diets can lower the risk of all-cause mortality. And there's evidence that high beta carotene consumption can offer protection against obesity and risk factors for metabolic syndrome. And it's also thought that vitamin A is a potent regulator of our fat tissue development, and so therefore really important for obesity prevention. So again, high vitamin A beta carotene foods. Like I said, you can substitute sweet potatoes or yam here, another like great orange vegetables, and also carrots would be a great substitute here. Of course, you'd have to cook them first, whereas in this recipe, you can just get a really great can of pureed pumpkin. Make sure it's not pumpkin pie filling, or else you're going to get a ton of sugar in there, which we want to avoid. But yeah, if you wanted to take that extra step and use this with cooked carrots or cooked sweet potato, by all means, it would be fabulous. Now, it's also got some high vitamin C, which is super, super important. We all know vitamin C is good for our immune system, but it also helps protect our cells and our tissues from damage. And it supports the synthesis of collagen protein, which forms and strengthens our skin and our other connective tissues. Connective tissues are really, really important if we're dealing with joint pain and arthritis, people. So that's why I always recommend collagen powder as an additional supplement, because I consider it food. It is. It's food. It's not like, taking, a zillion different supplements. It's food. So vitamin C is also important for our healthy immune system function, cancer prevention, and neurological health. So another vitamin that is an antioxidant as well is vitamin E. And that, of course, like I said, is found in pumpkin. And diets rich in vitamin E are linked to a reduced risk of heart disease, hormonal problems like PMS, Alzheimer's disease, and skin issues like acne and wrinkles. And vitamin E also seems to prevent damage from free radicals that may decrease the risk of certain types of cancers. So, vitamin E is really, really important. And reducing heart disease risk is very, very important if you have something like rheumatoid arthritis, because rheumatoid arthritis can actually, if it's not managed well, it can actually start to take a toll on our cardiovascular system. So we really want to protect that. And lastly, pumpkin can help regulate our heart health and blood pressure. So let's talk about this a little bit more. So, just a 1 cup serving of cooked pumpkin has 16% of your daily potassium needs. And potassium is an electrolyte that a lot of us don't get enough of in our diet because it's primarily found in vegetables and fruits such as bananas, potatoes, squash, and avocados. So, we might not eat a lot of those foods. And having enough potassium in our diets has benefits such as lowering the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. And it counters the effects of too much sodium or unhealthy sources of sodium on our diet, which, if we are eating kind of a standard American or Canadian diet, because they are very similar, sometimes we're getting way too much sodium in our diet and not like a healthy, good quality form of sea salt or like Himalayan salt. So this is really important in order to help us prevent hypertension. So heart healthy potassium as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions below. Feel free to reach out if you've got any recipes that you yourself want to share. I'm always curious to know what people are eating, and if you have other kind of hacks for eating joint friendly, especially when it comes to eating grain free and egg free. So I will post this recipe below this post in Facebook so you guys can access that link and check it out yourselves. And it'll also be in my YouTube channel as well. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you again next week. Take care, everybody.